All right, the watch list for Monday, October 12th. Keep in mind it is Columbus Day, so the banks are closed, but the market is still open. But I expect it to be pretty thin, low volume. If I'm going to make any money tomorrow, it'll be in the first hour. Generally, that's the way it is, first couple hours anyway for me, but especially on a holiday. Sometimes on Columbus Day, you see some low float mania, so it's certainly worth tuning in. But once the first couple hours are over, you probably ought to find something else to do. I have to start with this UNXL just because I'll switch to 5-minute candles here. It did get late day parabolic move on Friday. It's that's not generally a chart that you want to chase now, and it's just been meandering for a couple months right above $1. So I don't even know what caused that move. By the time the market opens on Monday, I'll do some research and find out. But you got to put something like that on watch. Just because you see it make a move like that, you might get a red to green or something in a nice move tomorrow. So anytime I spot something that can move like that, it catches my attention. I'm going to throw Tesla on watch again. It kind of has a doji candle now. It basically closed where it opened on Friday. I still think it's overdone to the downside, so I want to watch that for a bounce, but only with a proper intraday setup. CANF, kind of a semi-recent, if you will, high flyer. Nice secondary bounce. Seems to have found support above 350, and then you had a really nice 2-day move here, and now you pulled back a couple days. Ended up kind of with a doji candle again, right at the 8-day moving average. That's an old resistance line. I don't know what it's doing there. So you might be putting in a higher low now. CANF, when it does get moving, it can really move. So I want to have that on watch. It may have Friday. It may have put in a higher low. RDUS, I always like to have some bounce plays on watch. This is 5 days lower, nearing the 200-day. Had a nice bounce in the middle of August after that big sell-off day. Had a really nice bounce. So it's getting there. I want to watch that for a potential bounce. Again, only with a proper intraday entry. I believe this is in the same space as KND. This might have been a double bottom here. I want to watch that for another follow-through. Although it made a nice move on Friday, you might have follow-through to that move on Monday. MEET, the lower float stock, gapped up. Then the next day took out the lows of the day, gapped up. But then it's propped right back up again. Let's glance at the weekly chart real quick. I mean, it's interesting, right? This one might get a decent move. It definitely needs to break Friday's high of 195. Then I always look for another catalyst just above. So if you get through 195, it might rip through 2 and then some short covering, okay? This doesn't look like a big mover on any given day, but if 196 might push it through 2, so there's what we call a stacked catalyst. So I might go long if I get a proper intraday setup and then an entry at 196. Looking for a push through 2. Maybe it comes up and visits the high of this July run at 217, and you had a little bit higher than that back here too. So this one is interesting. Over $1.95 on Monday. EVOK is really holding up well after again, I talked about this before. Shorts came in and just killed this spike, even though it went all the way up over 7. So when a stock does that, on an intraday basis, you probably could have had a good long there, and we may have. I can't remember if we traded that. Then you had another spike. Well, and sellers came in and closed at the low of the day. Same thing here. Sellers came in after a nice spike, though. These are the kind of stocks you can make money in both ways, right? I generally don't short these lower price stocks, but I know some people that make a killing doing that. So anyway, sellers came in again. Sellers came in here again, knocked it all the way back down. But you notice now all of a sudden it's starting to climb. Sellers are failing. Okay, it had a nice pop here, started to come back down. I think sellers gained some confidence. Next day it's up again. Inside day on Friday. So I still like this. It's setting up. There's not a lot of resistance above. So one catalyst would be 448, a break of Friday's high. Again, you'll notice there's another catalyst just above that, which would be 458, which would be Thursday's high. And then you might make a move to 5 and maybe take out this high. So I like this one. I like the way it's setting up. We've had some really nice trades in it these last few days. So it does make nice intraday moves. EXAS be the last one on my list. Again, really beaten up. Had a strong move to the upside on Friday and really kind of ended the day flagging for the last 2 hours. So this might have a continuation of this bounce. So I want to watch it there. And as always, hopefully we'll find some nice morning gap plays. Oftentimes if we find, and the group really does a great job, all the members working together to find pre-market volume and build a list that we can all watch for morning gap plays. I really like the lower price, low float ones for the gap plays. It's kind of my wheelhouse. And oftentimes, if we have the right setup and the right trade, I can meet my daily goal 12 minutes into the session and then just start trading smaller the rest of the day and try to add to it. But the gap plays are crucial, and when we get the right setups, and that might happen on Columbus Day. You might sometimes those bank holidays, but the market's open. Sometimes you get some really nice gap and kind of low float mania plays. So it will be interesting tomorrow morning. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see everybody on Monday.